Hi gorgeous, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time of seeing me, my name is Egons and I teach pattern making and sewing using very simple methods. So in today's class, we'll be learning how to modify our skirt block to create patterns for an asymmetric flared skirt. I'm not exactly sure how it's pronounced. English is not my first language. Anyways, that's the skirt up there. So if you don't already have your skirt block, I have already done a tutorial how to make one. So you can check my previous video and see how you can make one for yourself. By the way, I'm going to drop the link of how to make a skirt block using your own measurement in the description box below. Please kindly subscribe to my channel so that you always get notified when I upload new videos. And as always, like and drop a comment for me below. I'll really appreciate it. So now grab all your pattern making tools. Let's start drafting our patterns. So now to start drafting patterns for our skirt, the first thing will be to trace out our skirt block. Now I've traced out my skirt block on one side. I'm going to mirror the other side and trace it out so that it will be one full skirt. So you just flip your skirt over like this and align it very well, center front against the center front, and then you trace it out nicely. Okay, so once you've done this, the next thing you want to do is you can either lengthen your skirt to your desired length or you can shorten it to your desired length. Now I want to lengthen mine so that it will be a bit longer. So I want to lengthen mine with about 10 cm. So for my original skirt hem, I just want to add 10 cm to it. So the next thing will be to determine where you want your flare to start from. So you are going to mark that on your hem line. So for example, this is my center front. So it could be about maybe 10 cm away from your center front or 8 cm. It depends on you, how you really want it. So you give it a little mark. I'm using a pencil here so that I can correct it if I want to. And then you are going to draw your curve where you want your flare to be. You can use a pencil to do this first before you use a pen in case you need to erase it. Okay, and then just use your pattern master to draw your curve anyhow you want it to be. Okay. Now when you get to this part, this is my hip line, you are going to bring it down a little bit, say maybe about 1 or 2 cm. Just draw a slight straight line there, and then you draw your curve nicely to meet it. Yeah, something like this. Okay, so if you are happy with the way your curve is, then you can go ahead to highlight that with your pen, or you can make needed corrections if you want. Okay, so that's that. Now the other part where you want your flare to be on this other side, you're going to measure from your hemline to where you want your flare to stop. You can make yours 20, 15 or 15 cm or 25 cm. It really depends on you. I'm going to use 25 cm. So from here to here is 25 cm for me. And now you're going to connect this point nicely to somewhere here. And from here to here, remember, it's about 10 cm. So once you're done with that, the next thing would be for you to draw your slash lines, because we're going to use slash lines to create this flare. So you take your meter rule, and on your hemline, you are going to divide your hemline. Let's divide this part first, this section. So you're going to divide this into about 6 equal parts. Okay, and then you are going to draw your slash lines. Just connect them all the way down to this curve. Okay, so now you're going to label your slash lines so that you don't get confused when you slash them out. Okay, so and then you're also going to draw slash lines on this side as well. Okay, so here I divided it into 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm not going to label it yet, so let's leave this. I'm not going to number it yet. Let's leave this part. And then you're going to do exactly, repeat this process exactly the same way for your back side. So for the back side, you're also going to trace out your back skirt block, include all the details, and remember to lengthen or shorten your block just the way you did for the front part. Now for you to have exactly the same curve shape for the back, you are just going to take your front draft, and then you're going to place it directly on top of your back pattern, just like this. And then try and align the center front. This is my center front. Align it with the center back, just like this. Make sure the hem matches, and then make sure it's directly on the center so that you can have exactly the same shape if that is what you want. And then to make it easier, you just use your serrated tracing wheel, and then you trace on your curve. Now you can put pattern weight on it so that it doesn't move. So you just trace on your curve just like this. Now if you like, you can also trace on your slash lines if you like, or you can take it off and then redraw your slash lines. So now I can see my curve very well here because it's got little holes on it now, so I can trace it out very nicely. So now you're going to label them. And you're going to label this one from this other side so that you don't get confused. Now on the front side we have 7 here. So on the back side we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, then 14. So, and then you're going to continue from here now, 15, 16, just like that. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You're going to see why we had to label them like this, because we're going to cut them, separate them out. So now you get your scissors, and then you're going to cut out the flea. Now let me cut out the front part first. Okay, now you're also going to cut out the back side just like this. And once you're done cutting them out, you are going to spread out, you're going to slash and spread out your pattern so that you'll be able to create your flare. I just want to cut off this excess paper here. Now when you cut, don't cut it totally out, don't cut it through, just leave it a little bit like that. So you're going to cut out all your pattern pieces just like this for both the front side and the back side. To indicate your side seam so you don't get confused. So indicate your front side seam, and do the same thing for the back as well. So now you're going to cut a very big piece of paper so that you can spread out your patterns. Now you're going to take the bigger flare, one of them. You can take any one, either the front or the back, but mind you, the bigger one. So you place it just like this. I think this is my back piece now. Now you spread it out exactly the way you want it to be, how wide you want it to be. The wider you spread it out, the more volume you have for your flare. So you just spread them out evenly like this. And then you use your Scotch tape to hold them together in place. So once you're happy with that, you're going to take the other part of the bigger flare, and then you are going to mash them at the side seam. Take note, I had to indicate which part was the side seam before I slashed them, before I cut off my pattern, so that I don't get confused. And then this is my front, flare. Now I want to spread it out. Now this is the back side. Now I'm spreading them together on the side seam, because the front and the back flare pattern, they are going to eventually become one pattern or one flare pattern. So that is why we are joining them together. So you just spread this one out just like this. Now you will even notice that the numbers actually matches. You see 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just like that. Okay, so this is the other part. Now this is a very big pattern, so I hope you can see it very well. So make sure that if your pattern cut open, just attach it together nicely with your Scotch tape. At the side seam, make sure that this tip, they match together here. the front and the back side seam should match here, so you don't add any volume to that part. Okay, so once you are happy with the way it is, now you can use your scotch tape to hold them down very well. Okay, so once you are happy with the way it is, now you are going to take your pen and outline the bottom. Just blend the bottom hem very well. So now once you're done with that, let me cut it out so that you can see the full pattern very well. Okay, so this is how your pattern looks like. It's quite big. Yours may not be as wide as this, depending on how much you spread it out. So the next thing you're going to do is you're also going to spread out the smaller flare pattern. So we're going to set this aside. Again, for the lower flare, you're going to do exactly the same thing like the larger flare. So you're just going to place them on a plain sheet of paper like this, and then you're going to spread them out. Now, it's important that the side seam, they stay together here. Now, this is the front side seam and this is the back side seam. It's important they meet together just like this. So you spread them out the way you like, and then you use your scotch tape to hold them in place once you are happy with the way it is. Now I noticed that my front part, my front side seam is slightly longer than the back part. I'm sure that happened when I flipped my pattern to draw the curve for the front part. Well, it's okay, we can always correct that. You can just blend it in your hem. Yeah, so I'm just going to blend it in my hem nicely so that my patterns will match. Yeah, so you see what I just did. If yours is like that, you are going to blend it in nicely. Okay, so once you're happy with the way it is, now you're also going to cut these out. So this is how your smaller flare is going to look like. Now the only thing you need to do will be for you to place your tracing paper over it, and then you are going to trace it out and add your seam allowance. And then for the remaining part of the skirt, so this is my center back, you're also going to trace it out and add your seam allowance all around. Now you can decide to create your waistband, or you can decide to make it a bandless. So if you're going to create a waistband for this skirt, I had already done a video in my previous video showing how to create waistbands for skirts or for pants. So you can go through the video tutorial so that you understand exactly how to make your waistband pattern. So you're going to do the same thing for the front side as well. Now you're going to have apart from your waistband, if you decide to have waistband, you're going to have just 4 pattern pieces for this skirt. You're going to have your back part as one pattern piece, and you're going to cut just one. And then for your front part, you are also going to have just one pattern piece, just like this. You're also going to cut just one piece, and then this is going to be your lower flare. You're going to cut just one piece, and for your upper flare or your large flare, not upper, the bigger flare, you're also going to cut just one piece. So you're going to have just 4 pattern pieces, with the exception of the waistband. Now if you are going to add your waistband to it, then your pattern pieces are going to be more than 4. So this is where we're going to stop for today in this class. In our next class, I'll be showing you how to stitch these skirts. I hope this class was not too difficult. I hope you were able to follow through. If you have questions, leave them for me in the comment section. I'll be happy to help out. And please, if you enjoyed this class, don't forget to like, drop a comment for me to know what you think. And please, if you have not already done so by now, please hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. And you can also share this video as well. Invite your friends to subscribe to my channel as well. Thank you very much for staying with me up to this time. I'll see you again in my next class. Bye bye.